Introducing first, coming to us from the end of the world, Santiago, Chile, and is representing 287 pounds. They are the team up first, ranked number 28, with no flight victories, Alessandro, and his partner, ranked number 27, with no flight victories, the American Lion, Pedro, Pablo. Out of Dayton, Ohio, Toryn.
Ladies and gentlemen, October 11th, Friday night fights round 4 here at the Fight Society in the Battlegrounds. My name's Jim Amata, being joined by fight director Paul Atlas. And Paul, what an opening contest as this man, AJ Alexander, looks to extract some revenge from the South American imports.
That's right. If you remember at our last event, AJ Alexander teaming with Rayo. Rayo turning his back on him.
It was this man that just last month was fighting on his own after Rayo, the running buddy of Alessandro and Pablo, left AJ high and dry. But the master of the neckbreaker is the Contenders champion, and you know that he has his sights set on that Fight Society championship. Of course, when AJ was blindsided by Rayo in the Chile contingent, it was Toryn Flight coming to the aid of AJ Alexander. And while these South American imports are very well versed in the ring, make no mistake about it, this matchup is a personal grudge because AJ was left high and dry by Rayo.
Yeah, you know, this match has, as we've said, has international implications. The Chilean consulate is watching very carefully here tonight to see how their boys do against Toryn Flight and AJ Alexander.
And so far, Pedro and Alessandro have not won over this McKeesport crowd because of their actions thus far in the Battlegrounds, but it could be payback time as we're seeing Pablo square off with Toryn Flight.
Yeah, and I really don't think they care what these people here think of them. They've come here at the Fight Society for one reason and one reason only, and that is victories, and that is gold.
Well, Paul, I'm going to ask you, when this matchup was signed, was this at the request of AJ Alexander? Did he want to get his hands on Alessandro and Pablo?
Well, Alexander did come to me after our last event and say he was definitely looking for a measure of revenge. And I told him, if you've got somebody who will stand by your side, I will make the match. And he presented Toryn Flight, and that's why we're here tonight at the Battlegrounds.
And Alessandro working on the wrist lock, but nice agility from Toryn. Flight nips up and reverses here, has wrist control of his own. But we've seen this Chile contingent very, very well versed, very quick, very familiar in the wucha style that is very common south of the United States. We know Toryn is influenced in that very same style.
Yeah, there's a difference, though. I mean, in being influenced by the style and actually growing up around the style and learning the style firsthand.
Back heel trip here. Countered by Toryn. Nice head scissor. Lucha pass. And what agility. Toryn snaps it off. Tilt-a-whirl satellite head scissor, and Toryn Flight is rolling. The momentum, a real trademark of his young career. Up and over he goes. And Pablo trips up Toryn. No surprise there, because we've seen that these two don't mind taking a shortcut.
Well, like I said, they're here for one thing and one thing only, and that's victories in gold. And maneuvers like that prove that very much.
One thing that we're seeing here, Paul, is that everything that these Chilean athletes do, it's very measured. Everything is very proper. They are so well versed inside the squared circle.
Well, there's no two ways about that. These two are very young, but very, very experienced.
And Alessandro, elevated elbow, hooks the leg and forces Toryn to kick out there. To your point, Paul, they are young in the industry, but they hook the leg. They will not make elementary mistakes.
No, they will not. I got to tell you, despite their attitude, the people here might not like them, but I'm excited to have this. How many promotions do you know that have the international flair right now that Fight Society does?
True international influence.
Exactly, and that's what we're building on here at Fight Society. We want anyone from all over the world to come to the battlegrounds and show us what you got to fight for our championship.
Pablo launching himself at Toryn in the corner, hooks him up. T-bone throw. And as you can hear, Pablo is very proud of himself.
I think that's what he said, at least. I don't know. I failed high school Spanish.
Backs Toryn to the corner here, looking to press forward. Toryn counters out of it. Springboard, unorthodox but effective kick, and you can see Toryn quite literally restraining Pablo, trying to keep him from making that tag, which is Tag Team Strategy 101. As innovative and as new age as these four athletes are, the traditional strategy works very, very well.
Tried and true and tested. You can have all the fancy maneuvers you want, but you've got to have that base if you want to get anywhere in this business.
And AJ Alexander, one of the most dynamic young athletes on the roster. Big takedown, and Pablo's head bounces off the canvas like a basketball, hooks the leg.
Yeah, but he took a little too much time to count along with the referee there. Hook that in, shoot that half, and get that pin cinched in tight, kid.
Pablo out the back door. And man, what a right hand. And AJ's being treated like a ping pong ball in there right now.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what the problem here is, but these guys have targeted AJ Alexander for some reason.
2 count there.
5 minutes, 5 minutes.
And AJ will need all of that trademark tenacity, because as we've said, he is in there with some finely tuned young guns in the wrestling business. They may not be known to this audience right now, but trust me, in due time, people will be very familiar with these two, as AJ again forced a kick out.
And to my point, you can see Alessandro hooking not only the leg and shooting the half neck, but he also clasped the hands to try to tighten that pin up even stronger.
And he was clasping the hands as he was trying to asphyxiate Alexander over that rope. And again, we're seeing some very convenient cheap shots from these Chilean contingent. into the cover here. And you notice, Paul, like a true tag team, like true pros, when these Chilean athletes have AJ on the canvas, they go for the cover because, quite frankly, as basic as it sounds, on that mat is where you can win the matchup.
Exactly, and not only that, but they position themselves between AJ Alexander and his tag team partner, Toryn Flight. So once AJ kicks out, he still has to try to get through them to get the tag.
And AJ, we've seen him fight so often. We saw him spilling blood from his nose last month that he fought on. But as I said, he's going to need that fight here. And what a maneuver from Pedro. Planted Alexander center ring. That was just poetry in motion. I may not like Pedro's attitude, but you have to admire the athletic ability that this young man is bringing us here.
Oh, that was perfectly executed.
And I don't admire any of this.
But you got to admit, those kicks are perfectly executed as well.
Kind of reminds me of something the wrong crowd may have done back in the day, huh?
It ain't cheating if you don't get caught.
And here we go as Pablo and Alessandro are going to work tandem offense. And they are a well-oiled machine, diving European uppercut. We got all kind of continents represented here as Alexander again gets his shoulder off the mat.
And Alessandro, she's shocked right now.
You know, Paul, these guys were brought here last month as running buddies of Rayo, but what we're seeing right here is these two making a name for themselves. But in air raid crash, AJ living up to his name with a variation on a neck breaker, but does he have enough to get to Toryn Flight?
He's going to have to if they have any chance of winning this match. He has got to get over to Toryn Flight and make that tag.
As AJ is inching, can he make it? And he got cut off. Just inches away. Can AJ make the pivotal tag here?
He's got it.
He does. Sling blade from Toryn. He comes in rolling. He was aching to get in that squared circle. Falcon arrow. I can't believe it, Paul. I thought for sure that was it.
That should have been it, but as you see, he kicked right out of it. Toryn setting him up here now.
Toryn is known as an aerial artist. No water in the pool.
No, but he made the tag to AJ Alexander right before he climbed that rope. I don't think they realized that.
AJ, you're right, Paul. AJ is the legal man. But he got uppercut out of his shoes.
I could have swore I saw teeth flying into the second row.
Alessandro and Pedro are making a name for themselves in Pittsburgh right now.
AJ caught him.
And what an elevated neck breaker. And again, Alexander living up to that name and fighting through all the adversity in our opening round matchup here. Wait a minute. Alessandro has the feet.
The referee was out of position. He could not see what was going on.
53 seconds. No winning of Alessandro.
And after a tremendous in-ring contest, these Chilean athletes are going to steal one. A tainted victory.
We got Rayo out here now.
Pedro, vengan aquí. Pedro, Pablo, acércanse. Hello, my friends. Congratulations, my friends. Buenos resultados, amigos. Que viva Rayo. Que viva Pedro, Pablo. Que viva Alessandro. y que viva la revolución.
I'm not sure, but I think Rayo has just said he is declaring war.
Accompanied by the foreman, Mr. Ronald Starks. And he took a body weight of 405 pounds. They're the defending Fight Society Triple Crown Tag Team Champions, OSHA Incorporated. Individually, ranked number 13 with 6 fight victories from Atlantic City, New Jersey, Destin Vaine. And ranked number 12 with 7 fight victories from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, the cornerstone of professional wrestling, Sammich.
You know, Paul, these guys are as pleasant as a colonoscopy. You know that?
I'll tell you, and I know how pleasant they are. But if you want to see obnoxious, just wait a few minutes.
Accompanied by Benjamin C. Steele and RPW, Robert Parker Williams. We have a team with over 300 fights and over 20 titles, one combined for PWX, and a total body weight of 596 pounds. They're the challengers, Steel Perfection. Individually from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, he is the big deal, Bennett. And from the Wildwood Boardwalk in New Jersey, CJ Sensation.
Steel Perfection. A group of individuals that are quite literally rewriting the rules, rewriting the book, because that's 4 individuals that we didn't think we'd ever see in this building again, but they are here and they have made an impact each and every time they walk into that squared circle.
Now, this goes back to Beast Brawl when Robert Parker Williams was here in honor of Ron the Beast Williams, and since then, this has just snowballed in what we see here tonight with Steel Perfection.
Well, Paul, I'm going to ask you, I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but you are management here as the fight director. Who in the hell let these guys in the door?
Well,
was it a setup all along? How far ahead? How many moves ahead was BC Steel planning this thing? Because it was very convenient that our PW was here and someone happened to open that door for BC Steel, who then happened to open the door for CJ Sensation. And of course, we're seeing the big deal, Dash Bennett, on the ring as well. You have to wonder who, if anyone, could be the next draft pick for Steel Perfection. Quite frankly, I don't trust any of them.
Like I said, we invited Robert Parker Williams back for Beast Brawl, and later that next month we saw Benjamin C. Steele in this building, and I have to tell you, the contracts were all signed, they were all in line, the legal departments looked them over, and that's where we're at today.
Well, let's make no mistake about it, Paul. Sandwich hits a textbook drop kick to start out here. Let's make no mistake about it. Steel Perfection, Dash Bennett, RPW, and CJ Sensation are a group of dangerous men being led by a dangerous mind in BC Steel.
Well, there's no question about that.
And this man right here is a real bruiser. Dash Bennett, former PWX heavyweight champion, calls himself the big deal because, quite frankly, wherever he goes, he makes an impact despite catching a kick right in the top of the temple.
Deal. You said he's a big deal? I was reading his shirt. I thought it said he ate a big meal.
And some audio offense, so to speak, by Dash Bennett.
Hey, you want to wear the whistles, it can be used against you just as well as you can use it against your opponent. And there you see Robert Parker Williams returning the favor by choking out Destin Vaine the same way Ronnie Starks did just a few moments ago.
And for some reason, to see someone taking an advantage against OSHA Incorporated doesn't hurt my feelings too much.
Hey, none of these guys are winning a popularity contest, that's for sure.
You know, Paul, it's interesting to note that this matchup here, as we're seeing Dash Bennett make the tag, Dash is making his first, first matchup in 6 years, as we saw the beautiful leg lariat from CJ Sensation, who gets blindsided by Destin Vaine, who is now using the ropes.
You can't pull that one on Sean Patrick. He's a lot more clever than that. Yeah, and you're right. I mean, Dash Bennett has not been in the ring in quite some time, and you can't really tell just by the way him and CJ Sensation have been working together here.
Yeah, it's well documented through social media. Dash Bennett has been training tirelessly the past few months, so ring rust may be a factor, but only for so long, because Dash Bennett is looking to really right some wrongs in his career from the last time that he was in this building.
Yeah, but let's not forget, he may have been training in the gym, he may be getting his cardio up, but there's nothing like ring shape. He has not been in the ring in quite some time, so as this match goes on, we're going to see if Dash Bennett really has been training hard enough to keep up.
And we're seeing some textbook offense from OSHA Incorporated. Not only are they on the same page, they're on the same sentence, reading the same word. OSHA Incorporated are as tandem can be.
There's a reason why they're the current champs right now, Jim.
As CJ shoots Destin Vaine in, CJ, a true veteran, had it scouted and drove Destin down to the canvas. BC Steele having an aneurysm at ringside, but I can assure you it was only 2. And in this juncture with CJ just blatantly choking Destin Vaine, I'm just going to say, hey, I think Destin Vaine, he may just deserve it. I'm not too upset for once. I'm not going to get my blood pressure up talking about OSHA Incorporated.
Hey, these guys have been known to stretch a rule or two in their day, so, payback sometimes is a bit of, you-know-what.
Payback can be a BC Steele, can it?
Yes, it can.
And now Vaine, who's a real pit bull in there, just a real nasty individual. But the way that Dash Bennett can move that weight around, he is so deceptively agile and is so impactful, and you can appreciate a good knee lift.
Oh, I'm telling you, it's like getting hit by a freight train, getting hit by this guy.
And one of the things that we've seen Dash really focus on, wait a minute here, I believe there must have been some type of a blind tag there. Sean Patrick going to acknowledge it. So even though I didn't see the tag in that exchange, I'm going to take Sean Patrick's word for it, because quite frankly, he's the most honorable man in the ring right now. It didn't take much for him to accomplish that.
Yeah, but unfortunately in this situation, that's like being skinniest on the fat farm.
Dash got zealous, ran into a boot there. Diving European uppercut, very resourceful from Destin Vaine.
CJ Sensation making that save at the last minute.
No honor among thieves, is there, Paul?
Absolutely not.
And we just heard the 5-minute call from the legendary Hank Hudson. I have to ask, Paul, how many rules have been broken in that 5 minutes?
Too many to count. I think every one we've got. Neither one of these teams is beyond committing an infraction or two.
As Dash is getting mugged, but considering all the notorious things Dash has done in his career, you can't really feel bad for him either.
This is a lot of comeuppance here in this match, I got to tell you.
There's so much rule breaking going on. This matchup could be a bad influence for for anybody that's nearby. Curtis Stevenson's looking a little untrustworthy down there. I don't trust him either.
Hey, easy. That's my running buddy. I'm not quite sure what that was all about, but hey.
Almost a coffin drop, so to speak. Looks like Sammich has been studying up on some footage, I guess. And you could see just that momentary hesitation, and Dash Bennett raked the eyes and went for a blatant low blow. And again, I'm not going to get upset if Sammich is in some pain right now. Turnabout fair play.
Well, he's in a little bit of pain, all right. Sean admonishing him as much as he can here, but...
Ronnie Starks throwing a fit at ringside. Takes that title as foreman very seriously somehow. And this is some nasty offense here, as Dash was being asphyxiated by that second buckle. Vaine gonna try to push forward. But Dash is living up to that weight. We do have a tag there.
Oh, yeah, you saw the tag. But I don't know if he really helped his partner out any with that tag. As
he may have taken the knee out, Paul.
But I think he also took his partner out.
This is wild, man.
And CJ seems confused now at this point.
Look out. Pair of sliced breads planted everybody. Sammich going for another. CJ's gonna put on the brakes. And in between everyone breaking every rule in the book, there's a hell of a lot of good wrestling going on here as well.
There's a few holds going down too.
And what the hell is BC Steele doing? BC had Sean Patrick distracted. CJ had some brass knucks and just tattooed Sammich.
Well, wait a minute. Ronnie Starks has stopped the count.
And what is that? That angry ginger needs to get the hell out of it. Yeah, get him, Sean!
And Sean Patrick has had enough. And it looks like Sean's going to give the victory to Steele Perfection right now.
Fist up, throw down, and do not get on Sean Patrick's bad side.
However, CJ celebrating a little prematurely here, as you cannot win the titles on a disqualification.
And I think that Sean...
Final 8 minutes, 41 seconds. Your winners via disqualification, Steele Perfection.
Sean...
Another on a technicality, OSHA Inc. remains Fight Society Triple Crown Tag Team Champions.
Sean Patrick explaining that to Steele Perfection.
Ronnie Starks put his hands on Sean Patrick, and at that point, Sean had had enough. And you know, we have these title matches under traditional rules, not Fight Society rules. So you can indeed be disqualified, and that's what Sean chose to do.
Well, Steel Corp is livid. BC Steele, Dash Bennett, CJ Sensation, and RPW, they believe that they should have had those championships.
Yeah, they are definitely beside themselves right now, as OSHA Inc. is trying to head for the high ground.
And I don't think Steel Perfection's done. RPW ain't leaving the ring. OSHA still the champions, but Steel Perfection, one way or another, does have a valid case for a rematch.
They have a valid case for a rematch, and oh, wait a minute now.
And here's a little revenge from last month. Abel and Brohemoth were blindsided at every turn last month.
Yeah, looking for a little bit of payback here, but Steel Perfection, being the champion cowards they are, have taken to the floor.
All right, you got it. Hey, Steele. Let's end this. Let's do this now. Let's end this tonight. This started with RPW and Brohemoth. Let RPW and Brohemoth go at it. Who wants to see Brohemoth get his hands on RPW? Look, Steele Erickson, you guys take it to the back and let RPW stay out here with Bro.
Danny Abel playing matchmaker here, but Robert Parker Williams is claiming injury.
All right.
What's he got, a hang now?
Okay.
He's got a sore shoulder. That's very convenient.
Option number 2, RPW. If you don't want to go one-on-one with Brohemoth, how about you go one-on-one with me? And when I beat you, then next month you go one-on-one with Bro.
And the huddle here by Steel Perfection.
Hey, little kid, you're not going to see second grade. Settle down. Now, fair stipulation. However, how about if RPW defeats you, then it's 3-on-1 against Brohemoth next month. How about that? You want to chant bro now? All right. No problem. We accept, bro. Right now it's me and RP. All right, we got an impromptu match here. You heard the stipulation. RPW versus Abel.
Hey, Paul, are you going to sanction this?
Sure, why not?
There, it's now official.
That's right. Everybody wants to be a matchmaker these days.
Well, hey, you just said it on air, so it is official.
I
It's
know.
the decree has officially come down. It's
Damn
a verbal
recordings hold up in court. What can I say?
It's a verbal contract, and Danny Abel made a critical mistake right out of the box, and that is that you never, ever turn your back on our PW. And Brohemoth he's lost it. Brohemoth is going after Dash. We got RPW beating the hell out of Abel in the ring. Paul, this is crazy out here.
It's Fight Society, brother.
Bro and Dash have spilled, I think, backstage somewhere. They're in the locker room. RPW is mugging Danny Abel at ringside.
Well, Danny Abel wanted this match, and he got it.
And let's not forget the stipulation. Abel comes up short. Bro's going to have a disadvantage of 3-on-1 next month, November 8th, the next time we're in this building.
Hey, they asked for it. They're getting it right now.
Beautiful bridge from Abel. That may have been an act of desperation there. Abel knows that he's outnumbered and overmatched here.
Especially now that Brohemoth has spilled to the back with Dash Bennett. Abel is out here all by himself with RPW, BC Steele, and CJ Sensation.
And this is that roughneck nature of RPW. A student of the late great Devil Budokan, RPW knows every trick of the trade.
That is it. He is as well versed in not only mat wrestling, but all other forms of wrestling, and this guy will knock your lights out if he gets the chance.
Abel so unorthodox, but that's what makes him so difficult to prepare for. Abel is one flew over the cuckoo's nest goofy, but he can get it done as he just powered RPW down to the canvas.
Hey, you don't have to be a Rhodes Scholar to be here in Fight
What
Society.
is Steele doing up on the ramp? Wait a minute, that's Zeke Mercer. Powder in the eyes of BC Steele. He's paler than usual.
And now he just went after CJ Sensation on the outside.
Steele is absolutely blinded. CJ and Zeke are now fighting backstage. And through all of that, Abel has secured a single leg crab, a version of the Calgary crab,
And he
is wrenching and twisting away at RPW.
RPW trying to get to those ropes. Abel wisely pulling him back into the center of that ring. Now he puts that knee on the side of the head. He is really wrenching back.
And what the hell is Titan doing out here? Now him and Abel have had their wars, if you want to call it that.
And now Titan is down and out.
Oh, I told you, you can't turn your back on RPW, and he just stole one.
With a time of 3 minutes, 38 seconds, your winner, RPW, Robert Parker Williams.
Do not turn your back on RPW.
You people need to know. And by virtue of this victory, RPW has earned a 3-on-1 match against Pro-Behemoth 4 weeks from tonight.
Well, Paul, I hate to throw Abel under the bus, but he just came up short.
Introducing first, round number 16, with 2 fight victories. He's the current GLL Patuno King champion from Lima, Peru, weighing 180 pounds. The pride of South America, Rayo.
This young man has not endeared himself to the Fight Society, but he has undoubtedly, unquestionably made an impact.
And tonight he's got the workhorse of Fight Society, one-on-one. And look at that look in Patrick Hayes' eyes right now. He is all business here tonight.
As Brandon Kay still looms on the mind of Patrick Hayes, will he be able to focus on the future of Honor Star Rayo? Because, Paul, when this matchup was announced, it created a lot of buzz on social media. A lot of people are touting this matchup as a potential show stealer here tonight at the Battlegrounds.
Well,
Once again,
you've got Rayo here, and this young man has been very impressive the last few times here at the Battlegrounds. And like I stated before, he's going to be facing the workhorse of Fight Society, Patrick Hayes. This is going to be a barn burner.
Paul, It's October 11th of 2019. You once called this man the future of the Fight Society. And Hayes is going to have to be in top form, despite that ongoing rivalry with Brandon Kay. Paul, you and I both know that Rayo has learned under some of the best minds in this industry at that Ring of Honor dojo. And if you're Rayo, if you want to cement yourself here in the Fight Society, defeating the first ever Fight Society champion is certainly a way to do that.
That's right. Patrick Hayes has become the measuring stick for Fight Society.
And you can see the frustration already etched on the face of Patrick Hayes. Paul, what is Hayes going to have to do to keep his cool here? Because if he makes a mistake, he's going to end up looking up at the lights.
Yeah, he's going to have to stay focused on the task at hand tonight, and that is Rayo. I know he's got some issues with Brandon Kay, and he's been calling him out here for the past few months at the Battlegrounds. But Hayes is going to have to put that aside tonight if he wants to defeat Rayo.
The native of Lima, Peru, is a long way from home, and none of his actions will gain him any fan support here because, quite frankly, the argument could be made that the Battlegrounds is the house that Patrick Hayes built.
Without a doubt.
As perhaps Rayo is now ready to begin this contest. Collar and elbow here. You can see Hayes trying to get some height on Rayo for added leverage. And there's already some animosity, some hostility between these two. And Hayes just stands up Rayo.
Yeah, Hayes is definitely going to have the power advantage here in this match. You know, we've seen Patrick Hayes move around that ring like a lightweight, but I think Rayo's going to have the advantage in quickness, while, as I stated, Hayes is going to have the advantage in power.
And we know Hayes is a heavy, heavy hitter. You do not want to be backed in the corner against Patrick Hayes.
He will knock your lights out.
And this is wise from Rayo, going to try to wear down Hayes in the early moments of this matchup. And Paul, we can understand how a headlock obviously can restrict the breathing. Mentally speaking, when you're trying to formulate a game plan inside the ring, how distracting is it when someone's wrenching on your head?
Well, that's very distracting. You're trying to get out of there, you're trying to move around, and he's just twisting your neck.
Hayes up and over. As is Rayo. Hayes hangs on one step ahead of the Future of Honor star.
Hey, you know what? I bet you can jump just like
Boy, Rayo really knows how to make friends, doesn't he?
I'll tell you.
Well, Rayo is completely telegraphing himself here.
Yeah, he's challenging Patrick Hayes to keep up.
Rayo hangs on.
Wait a minute, Patrick Hayes seemed to jam that leg when he went for that leapfrog.
And you know what, Paul? Just like in this rivalry with Brandon Kay, in this exchange, Hayes felt like he had something to prove, and he played right into Rayo's game and may have injured his knee because of it.
I think he took exception to that attempt at a chop by Rayo.
Rayo may have the hops, but it's Patrick Hayes that has those chops, which I believe Rayo is going to experience momentarily.
Rayo may have overstepped himself this time.
Just listen, Paul. Just listen. And all of a sudden, Rayo is not very urgent to engage with Patrick Hayes in a striking battle.
Looking for that wrestling version of a timeout as he rolls to the outside.
And Hayes is going to press the advantage.
Hey, why not?
Rayo is quite literally on the run here, but I believe there's some maniacal strategy. And that's what I'm talking about. Come on.
Right after that leg.
Paul, I talked about it in the opening moments of this matchup. On paper, this was going to be a fantastic athletic bout, but that's not what we're seeing here because Rayo is more concerned about chopping Hayes' knee out than proving any athletic ability, which we know he has. We know Rayo's a top-notch athlete. He doesn't need to cheap shot Hayes coming back in the ring.
He doesn't, but again, grounding Hayes is actually sound strategy, believe it or not. I mean, Patrick Hayes is known for his maneuvers and moving around that ring and climbing to that top rope for that frog splash. Right now, if he can't stand, he can't do any of that.
Rayo really latching onto the leg here. And Paul, I don't have to tell you about how dangerous it is to get your knee wrenched around inside that ring.
It's very dangerous.
I mean, part of the reason that you're sitting up here
is moves just like that.
Exactly. And how does Hayes react to this? Because you can't generate any force if you can't stand.
No, he can't. He's going to have to try to do what he has to do to maybe change his game plan a little bit. And like I said before, this is actually sound strategy by Rayo to take that leg out of Patrick Hayes. Keep him on the mat where he really can't do any damage.
And we'll get the extra elevation from Rayo to come down with more force on something as simple as a stomp. That's next level stuff. And we know Hayes is resilient. But if you can't stand, you can't fight, and this could be a very short night for Patrick Hayes.
Yeah, and I think that is without a doubt the strategy so far. Rayo is not a stupid man. I'm sure he's watched Hayes in the battlegrounds these last few months, and he knew that taking out that knee was going to be the chance for him to gain a victory here tonight.
There's our great IndyWrestling.us crew bringing you all of this action. You can see the pain etched on the face of Hayes. And as you said, Paul, there's all type of footage on Patrick Hayes. You go to pwnnetwork.com, and I'm sure that Rayo has scouted Hayes. That's the type of athlete Rayo is.
Yeah.
I don't like his tactics, but he's very wise when it comes to in-ring strategy and in-ring execution.
That's it. You don't necessarily have to like the tactics, but it's sound strategy. Can't say that enough.
And again, Hayes cannot plant on that leg. Rayo improvised and exploited that advantage. Finds only 2 from referee George Ross. As Hayes is in agony on the squared circle.
Yeah, you can see he also has a couple of braces and some tape on that knee. That's an old injury. And Rayo, he scouted that out.
That would have been prompted that wrenching that knee here. That may be, as you said, a nagging injury. That's very common in professional wrestling. You could speak to that.
Exactly. I still feel my days in the ring even now.
And man, Rayo, that's just blunt force trauma clubbing to the chest. Hayes gets himself off the canvas, but he may be on borrowed time because, again, the agony is all over his face here.
Hayes now actually, I guess, trying to loosen those bandages, maybe to get some of the circulation back into that knee.
Yeah, clearly, Paul, as you said, he aggravated a nagging injury. And as many as spectacular things as we see these athletes do here in the Fight Society, let's not forget, it takes one slip to change your night. That is how dangerous this sport is.
Exactly. It can change in the blink of an eye. You can go from top of the world to the bottom of the heap just like that.
And of course here, my name's Jim Amato, your fight director, Paul Atlas, as we're coming to you via IndyWrestling.us, PWNnetwork.com. And Rayo's looking to make a statement on all of those platforms. But I don't know if he's going to keep Hayes down on this night. As we said, the Battlegrounds is the house that Hayes built, and he will not be embarrassed.
Patrick Hayes is going to give it his all here tonight. He will not walk out of here without a victory if he can help it.
10 minutes gone, 10 minutes.
Look at the tenacity of Rayo, though. Just keeps jumping on Patrick Hayes' back like a pit bull.
And just like he latched onto that knee earlier, he's going to latch onto the back here. And man, he kicked Hayes right in the temple. Pinpoint precision from Rayo. But Hayes, with an act of desperation, rockets out of the corner to floor.
Just like that, Hayes exploding out of that corner. Now Rayo flat on his back as well.
Critical point in this matchup, Paul. The first man to their feet will certainly have a definitive advantage.
You know, as much punishment as Hayes has taken to this point, that one exploding clothesline out of that corner probably did just as much damage to Rayo.
Hayes catches Rayo coming in. Can Hayes rally here? We've called him the workhorse of the Fight Society, but he got caught ducking his head there.
But not there.
Rayo sent into the lights. And this is grit and tenacity.
Hayes is digging down deep now. He knows he's going to have to if he's going to win this match up here tonight. And look at the look in Patrick Hayes' eyes.
Listen to those thuds, Paul. This is the months of frustration as Hayes continues to want Brandon Kay in that ring. But he's got Rayo, and Hayes knows what Rayo brings to the table. Hayes knows who he's in there with. And look at the exhaustion in the eyes.
Yeah, win, lose, or draw here. Both these men, they were in a pure fight tonight here at the Battlegrounds.
Friday Night Fights is living up to the moniker as Hayes elevates Rayo. Rib breaker, Rayo bouncing on impact.
Hayes with a hook.
I don't know how Rayo kicked out, Paul.
Hayes is in amazement right now.
And you can see that Hayes quite literally just asked himself, what does he have to do?
Yeah, you could tell by the expression on his face. Look out here now, he's calling for it.
And does Hayes have enough to get up to those ropes? Will that knee hold up? Because this maneuver, that vintage frog splash, has won Hayes multiple championships. But look at the brilliance of Rayo. That is
scouted it.
Ring Generalship 101.
Yeah, he may not know a lot of English, but I think he knows what it means when Patrick Hayes is feeling froggy.
And Rayo could be out of here, Paul.
Yeah, he's heading for the high grounds here. I don't know. Can we really have this end this way? I mean, come on now. After all these two men went through?
Hayes is trying to pursue Rayo, but
the referee's trying to pursue Hayes and Rayo.
Well, now what? I mean, you're the fight director. Can you give us, what's the word here?
Where'd they go? Somebody in the back, if you can hear me. What is going on back? Wait a minute. He found him.
I don't think Hayes is going to be denied. Hayes wants a statement win right here. Friday Night Fights 4 is Hayes' statement. He is not going to be denied. Well, he may be because he just ran himself into a back elbow.
He's caught Rayo. Digging down deep now, trying to stand on that leg. He's got him again.
And Hayes very gingerly trying to make his way up to that top rope. But as I said, he will not be denied on this night.
He hit it. He hit it, but I think he's injured himself too. That knee is still bugging him. He can't roll over and take advantage of hitting that frog splash.
Hayes is clutching the knee and now reaching out for Rayo, who is not moving. Hayes has it here. And again, look at the ring generalship of Rayo. Rayo knew where he was.
How many times have we seen that frog splash spell the end of a match for Patrick Hayes, a victory for Patrick Hayes? But not tonight. Rayo, that little bit of effort with that knee, Rayo was able to put his foot on the rope.
15 minutes gone. 15 minutes.
I believe Rayo just told George Ross he wants to continue.
Yeah. And he's calling Hayes on.
And I don't think that was a wise move.
No, it
at
wasn't.
all.
I can tell you right now, Patrick Hayes is not going to take too kindly to that.
I believe he just jabbed Hayes in the eye and hit a code red.
Wow. Hayes kicked out.
I think Rayo is trying to embarrass Hayes here, Paul.
Now Rayo can't believe that that did not work. I said it earlier, win, lose, or draw, both these men are going to know they were in one hell of a fight here tonight.
This is tooth and nail here, Paul. There's a lot of hostility here that's spilling over as Rayo just kicked Hayes in the side of the face. Goes for the cradle, telegraphed himself, and Hayes just
got
one
him.
slip.
16 minutes, 21 seconds. Your winner, Patrick Hayes.
Just one slip, just one mistake, and that's all it took for Patrick Hayes to capitalize. And I believe Hayes is hurt here. Hayes is clutching his neck. He's still favoring that knee. And referee George Ross checking on Hayes. Sean Patrick is out there. Well, Hayes just told George Ross he doesn't want help, but it was a fight. It was a nasty, nasty fight, but Rayo and Hayes gave us everything they had. You know, Rayo is a no-good bastard. I'm going to say it. After that fight, and now Hayes has to protect that knee. This isn't a wrestling match anymore. This isn't about competition. And Alessandro and Pablo are back out here. The running buddies of Rayo are going to mug Hayes in the center of the ring. And Alexander and Toryn Flight are not going to stand by for this, thank God. Hayes is in a bad way. He's got to be hurt. But the numbers game is catching up to AJ and Toryn as well. And where's Hayes is walking out of here as AJ and Toryn are getting jumped here. Hayes doesn't seem too eager to help those that just helped him. And finally, Hayes making the decision to clear the ring here. But clearly he's hurt. AJ down in the ring. Hayes has something he wants to say here, I assume. Well, the South American contingent got out of here, but I have a feeling that we haven't seen the end of this.
All right, fight fans, we got 4 fights down. We still got 4 great fights to go, but right now we're going to take an intermission.
The lights. Sorry, are we still on here? What's going on? We got the lights. Whoa! Yeah, happy Halloween, I guess.
If you guys put in nighttime when you just ask, you have to scare the hell out of me. In case you don't know who these guys are, they're the tag team of Shadow and Hail in the Flesh Chambers. If you recall, 2 months back, they defeated a team that is now the Triple Crown Tag Team Champions, OSHA Inc. And I guess that's what you guys want to talk about right now.
I think Chambers set off Hank's pacemaker.
OSHA, come out and play, boys.
My show, you want to stand in my ring and you want to throw out challenges? Well, I'll tell you what, I got a little challenge of my own. You see, if you 2 clowns, I know that was brilliant, wasn't it?
Hey, a Matt Bourne
Used to get hit in the head a lot, forgive me. Want a shot at those titles? I got a few guys around here. They're gonna help me help you prove it, and they're waiting for you out in the parking lot. You go out there, you meet my guys, you walk back through that door, and you got your shot. But you don't come back through that door, you shut the hell up.
Wait a minute, is there a challenge?
All right, Mike, you heard the challenge. It's Shadow and Chambers can beat that whatever's out there waiting for them and get back in this building in one piece. They'll get a championship match. But the rest of you, it's either rock to the parking lot or Brothers and Sevens Day.
Don't touch my friend!
Well, that was easy. Yeah.
You're running! Violation! Come to you! Come on! Come on! Come on! Put one in there too.
Somebody hit my car!
Violation!
She's gonna kick my ass over the car!
Violation! Your mama! Come on, guys! Hey, come on!
You don't see everything. Plus OSHA's wearing reflective vests.
Hold me back! Hold me back! I'm gonna kick his ass myself! I'm gonna beat him! I'm gonna hurt him!
Camera guy, save me!
Let's go! Clear path! Clear path! Yep, clear path! Clear path! It's the only time people listen to me. This is awesome.
They're walking right back in the building. They win.
Coming in the entrance right there.
Thank you.
They win, right?
I did.
Get a shot.
Get him in.
There they are. Back in.
You made it back. I'm a man of my word. Next up at the battlegrounds, you got your shot.
Sidekick Media Services. We are your sidekick in business for social media, video production, and more. Find out more at sidekickmediaservices.com.